Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC Fight Night, Overeem versus Saki. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. So in our first fight, we have in the lightweight division, Thiago Moises versus Jalen Turner. So look at this fight right here. I think it's pretty straightforward for real with this one because Jalen Turner is a very talented fighter and he's a huge lightweight as far as height-wise vertically. He's like 6'3" at 155, so that's a huge height advantage in this weight class, whether you're at the lower end of this weight class or the higher end of this weight class. No matter where you at in this weight class, 6'3" is tall as hell for lightweight. But yeah, talented fighter, got good submissions, got good striking, tall, like I said, used that reach very well. But my issue with Jalen Turner is that his grappling defense is a little bit questionable. Like he goes against a good wrestler. It seems like they're able to get takedowns on him and control him. Like it takes him a long time to get off his back. So maybe it's because he's cutting so much weight that he don't have the strength to really explode back to his feet. Or maybe his limbs are just so long that people can get a hold of him and hold him down. But like I said, he's a solid, well-rounded fighter, but definitely he can have issues with grapplers. And going against Thiago Moises, he's going against a solid grappler, solid BJJ practitioner, a solid black belt. And if Moises really employs a heavy grappling approach against heavy pressure, heavy grappling approach against Turner, will he be able to have success in that fight? And I don't think that's the case. So he'll have this huge height advantage, this huge reach advantage. He's very talented and all, but that gap in grappling defense is very concerning to me. And I think that's what I'm going to lean to Moises in this one. I feel like Moises, I think striking wise, he can keep him on feet. Turner can definitely win this fight. But even on the feet, Moises can hold his own with Turner. But if you go to the ground, you're heavily leaning to Moises to win that one, whether it's on his back or on top, which he'll likely be on top, most likely be on top. 80% chance he'll be the one on top if they go into the ground or grappling. So, and then like I said, in either of those positions, you're kind of going to lean to Moises regardless, like heavily. Where striking, like you're going to lean a little bit to Turner or just a good bit to Turner, but Moises can definitely hold his own in striking. So you're leaning more so overall in this fight to Moises, like striking, like you feel like he can hold his own. Pure grappling, definitely Moises. And then overall, like Moises' style is just more well-rounded. He has the tools to implement his style and get hit and like find his way to victory more so than Turner. Like Turner's best chance is to be able to keep it on the feet, pick him apart from a distance, then maybe put him out on the feet. That's really about it. I want to see him getting no takedowns or having success with that. More so just trying to be on the feet and be at distance. So to get to the point, I feel like Thiago Moises is going to be the pressure. I think Turner's going to have some success on the feet. But when Moises starts to get the takedowns, he's going to continue to get the takedowns. And on top, he's going to be able to control Turner. I think eventually, after wearing and smother him down for 2 rounds, I think he submits him in the third. So in this fight, I got Thiago Moises via third round submission. Now on to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Pereira versus Imadaev. So you got two guys right here who definitely need to dial it down a little bit because they both be trying to wild out in these fights. Pereira just be coming out there doing backflips, cartwheels, cartwheel to backflips, somersaults, front flips, flipping off the cage, doing Superman punches, doing double Superman punches, doing Superman kicks. He do anything that you could think of that you shouldn't be doing, or he be doing you can think of and things you don't even think of. That's what this guy be doing. And to really just get to how I feel about Pereira right now, or in general, and probably how I'm always gonna feel about him till the day he retires, and even when he's 80, is that this guy's style is a style that's a flash in the pan style. It's a style that's gonna be exciting. It might shock some people, like, oh my God, this guy might be the truth or whatnot. But 99.9% of the time, these flash in the pan guys are, when you really put them in the category of flash in the pan, like they're going to come out and have these phenomenal performances. They might even upset. They might even beat former champions. They might even beat people that go on to be future champions, or even beat people with credible people at times. But all in all, don't be the guys that go on to be champions. They don't go to guys that have long careers or long story careers. They go on to have some good little wins on their resume. More often than not, they're going to fighters that's going to be choking out there, or fighters that don't get, when people start to really figure them out, they start becoming so interesting and they just start piling up losses, then they're here and gone. So they have some exciting performances, might have a long time highlight reel, they might have a cult fan base, but they'll never become guys that are, like I said, champions and legends. They just be the guys that were around. You don't think they exist until you pull up a highlight reel. Like somebody say, oh, you think the guy right there is crazy right there? Like you be 2040, you have your kids and stuff. You like, they be saying some guy doing some crazy stuff. You thought that guy crazy? 20 years ago, this guy was doing some crazy stuff, like way crazier than this guy doing in 2040. You thought he was crazy. This guy real crazy. But yeah, that's who they be. But they don't be those people that win championships. And when I look at Imadaev, he crazy as well. Like he comes out there just swinging. Like he kind of fights like that guy that just, I don't know, has no training ethic, or, they're probably the guy in the gym be going 100%, wrestling 100%, fight 100%, be getting choked out, be still be trying to fight, guy that you kind of hate to train with. Even though I never trained with nobody like that, I'm just talking about what people talk about. But that's what he gives me. And that's what people kind of, the tell of the tape, or what the word on the street is that Zilim is a guy that, basically, he's the guy you hate to train with. He's always over the top. And it shows, let me slow down, I'm talking real fast. And it shows in his fights that he kind of comes out there and just tries to go 100% at all times. And when you go 100% all the time, you can't focus on your technique. So your technique going to suffer, your cardio going to suffer, your defense going to suffer. Really, everything suffers when you try to go 100% all the time. Like, you got to settle, you got to think a little bit, you got to set things up. You can't just be out there sprinting. And that's, like I said, that's an issue for both of them. But like, I see with Pereira, I see his style. Everything about him is about being wild and creative. I don't really see no super technical fighter out there. So, but I feel like in Zelim, I see at least a chance for him to just, and definitely between the two, Pereira burns more energy. Doing backflips and doing river dance and all that stuff is definitely more energy than just going out there swinging big shots and trying to wrestle and trying to do all this stuff. That's definitely more energy than just like the regular stuff, going 100% doing actual stuff instead of just doing backflips off the cage and running on the cage like your Ninja Gaiden and stuff. That definitely takes more energy. So they both have high energy, spinning styles, but Pereira's style is definitely more to flash in the pan and definitely more exhausting to do. So I'm gonna lean to the limit in this one. Like, I feel like Pereira, like, they're both gonna be in a wild fight. Pereira might have that chance to catch him with a flash knockdown. He did by MMA math beat the last guy to beat Zelim, but we don't go off MMA math. And I feel like this fight's gonna be like kind of wild first round, but Pereira's gonna gas out, and then in the second and third, Imadaev's gonna pick it up and beat him to a decision. So it's gonna be a wild fight. But at that first round, Pereira's gonna slow down. Imadaev's still gonna be gone. He's gonna be picking up the pace and just putting it on Pereira. I don't think he'll put it away because Imadaev's not really a knockout puncher. And like I said, he himself doesn't get. He's not the smart. I mean, he doesn't have the best fight IQ, and he doesn't fight with the best pace or the best strategy out there. But I feel like just the fact that Pereira's gonna gas himself in that high paced fight, Zelim Imadaev is still gonna pick up with the fact that Pereira's gassing and slowing down, and he's gonna pick up the pace and put it on him. It's gonna be a fun, exciting fight, maybe through one round, maybe even through 3 rounds. But I feel like the general path of this fight is that Pereira's gonna have a spin and blow his wad in the first. In the second, third, Imadaev just gonna pick up, and he's gonna be the one carrying the pace and win the last 2 rounds. And he might even win the first round, but definitely the case is that Pereira's gonna be slowed down after the first. So in this fight, I have Zelim Imadaev via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in a women's bantamweight division, Sijara Eubanks versus Carol Rosa. So this fight right here, like Sijara Eubanks, I see a fighter with phenomenal BJJ, really underrated BJJ. And a lot of people probably still not going to credit her for having probably some of the best BJJ in women's MMA. But she is one of the better MMA grapplers or BJJ practitioners in women's MMA. So give her that credit. Give her that feather. Give her that rose. So that's what I'm going to give. So as far as the striking goes, she can be a very dangerous woman at 125 or 35, even at 145. But one thing that always follows her is a bad cardio. She kind of looks like Kevin Lee, and she kind of has cardio like Kevin Lee's, and some of her weapons are kind of like Kevin Lee. I don't understand how she comes out there and is a high-level wrestler, but the fact that she's a fighter that can be very dangerous, but her gas tank is questionable, her heart is questionable at times, and she look kind of like Kevin Lee. And she kind of, I think she had like that right hand, she had like a good head kick, so that kind of similar to Kevin Lee, but yeah, basically cardio. In her last fight, it was probably a fight that should have been easy and should have been like a fight that could make her like a real statement fight, or at least a performance that like really sticks out. Like, oh my God, who is this woman? But it ended up being a fight that just like, she got a decision. It should have been a much more statement performance over Sarah Morais. But yeah, she was going against a fighter who she had better striking in and probably better grappling in, and she could have kept the fight on the feet, which it was, but the striking was actually pretty close when it should have been a wash, and it was a close fight against a fighter who doesn't have the best striking nor the most power. So like, she should have really took advantage of that, and she didn't. Now she's going against Carol Rosa, and like I talked about Eubanks for like a good 2 minutes really, but let's look at Carol Rosa. Carol Rosa in her last fight, she showed some high level striking, like real high level striking. Like she mixed it high, mixed it low, body shots, good leg kicks, good head kick. Like, he was like just mixing up the real well. Like, she almost like was on the level where you see a lot of high level man strikers. Like, sometimes every now and then you see a woman go out there and she put on a performance that like, damn, she fought like a top notch dude out there. Like a world class striking dude. Like, she was just, everything was on point. Like, she was in her combination with the jab. She was mixing the body, mixing low. She was setting up. She was doing feints. Like, she was literally looking like super clean in her last fight. I'm not sure if she got a stoppage in that fight. I'm not remembering. I'm not going to Google it. But I definitely remember her just looking like super clean and super textbook. And just like looking sharp and clean. And she has a solid grappler as well. So, like I said, with Eubanks' cardio, she got all this talent. Her cardio is an issue. Now she's going against a fighter who I see is definitely the better striker between the two. And can definitely probably keep it on the feet. And if Eubanks does take it to the ground, I don't think she can put her out of there. So even if you take it to the ground, all you're going to do is end up might winning a round, but you're going to be tired the next round. So how to see is like, I feel like Rosa can deal with Eubanks grappling, whether she just endures it or she stuffs the takedown and keeps on the feet. That thing on the feet, Rosa's just a cleaner, sharper striker. And she got a lot more power than Moises. and she probably overall got more power than you. Like, Eubanks got one good punch, and she got a real good sneaky head kick. That's about it. Whereas Rosa, she got power and everything. She plants and sets up everything real smooth, and she's able to generate power and not just like one shot, one punch, one kick. She can do it with both hands, both feet, knees, and all that stuff. Like, so I just feel like Carol Rosa will be the stronger fighter in this fight. She's the fighter that can push it for 3 rounds. She can put up more volume, and she can land more significant shots. But I see her just shutting down Eubanks, grappling for the most part, and then just like taking her out that first round, wearing her down, and beating her to decision like this clean 29, like I'm going to say likely 30-27, but I'm going to probably say 29-28. But either way, Carol Rosa all the way in this one. So in this fight, I got Carol Rosa via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, Ovince St. Preux versus Alonzo Menifield. I don't know why I say Alonzo. It's Alonzo Menifield. But how I see this fight right here, I already predicted this one like what, a last card or 2 cards ago. They were supposed to fight. But how I see this one cut and dry, I feel like Alonzo Menifield has really, like he doesn't come from no wrestling background, don't come from no boxing background. He's just a guy who was like an orphanage, and then in high school he got a chance to play football, was pretty solid, and he got a college scholarship. That's kind of where it ended. But he is obviously a physical talent. But that's really about it. His striking isn't the best. He got good power. He got good hips. Like he can keep the fight on the feet, and he can land some good power. He got some okay wrestling, but really he just more so a raw talent at this point. And it showed in his last fight when he couldn't knock his opponent out. Even the guy who I'm forgetting his name right now is more so a wrestler, not a striker. The fight was a striking matchup for the most part. And after he couldn't knock him out, he got outstruck by a wrestler. So in those type of fights, when you're supposed to be this guy with good hips and good takedown defense, you're supposed to almost be a sprawling brawler. You're supposed to knock guys out like that. They can't wrestle you or have continued success with their wrestling. You're supposed to knock guys out like that. And he wasn't able to do that. And Yanni going against OSP, a much more proven fighter than the guy he last fought. But yeah, I'm remembering the guy's name now. Devin Clark. Yeah, but Devin Clark. OSP is much more, has been at the top of the division. He has had he has had a title shot. He has fought with like #1 contender fights or fights that were pretty much #1 contender fights. And he's been in some good fights, and he's proven himself against top-notch competition, whereas guys like Devin Clark and definitely Alonzo Menifield have not even seen that level. And, you know, it's like time is on Menifield's side. You know, OSP is getting to the point where he's about to be out the door or nearing the door, with Alonzo Menifield is just suffered his first loss, so he can always rebound from a first loss. And it's likely that he'll have more ups in his career from here on out, whereas OSP more likely will have more downs from his career at this point. But just given the current point, I just see OSP as more well-rounded fighter. Like Menifield, it's not like it hasn't been like a month. I mean, it hasn't been like months it hasn't been a year or a month since that loss to Devin Clark. So I don't think much is going to improve. I don't think his cardio going to be any better. I still think if he can't get a knockout early, it's going to be an issue for him. That's his first. I think it was the first time. Yeah, that was his first time going to the decision inside the UFC. So it's still a lot for him to adjust. I think he could definitely make significant improvements in a little bit of time, but not enough to beat a veteran like OSP, who's also an athlete who has played football at a higher level than Menifield. So you've got to. You just go based on what they did in their athletic careers. OSP is a higher level athlete than Menifield. But we all know that MMA is not about athletics all the time. I take a better fighter over the best athlete any day in an MMA fight, because at the end of the day, it's fight. It's not football. You're not supposed to go out there and be squatting 800 pounds, having a big fat butt and jumping and doing backflips and stuff. You out there what can you do with those hands? What can you do with that wrestling? What can you do with that brain? It's not about, oh, I'm big and I just punch hard, unless you're Ngannou. But most times they're not. The fighter, you could have a little guy who got a beer belly and a gut, who knows, like a 3-time BJJ champion, beat a guy who like 6'8" and the biggest athlete and all this stuff, running 4.2s and stuff. I'm not making up creative characters, but in MMA, that happens all the time. So I'm talking about athletics, but that's just a kind of counterpoint Menifield's athleticism. But how to see this fight is, like I said, OSP has experience. He has the height. He has the reach. He has power as well. And like I said, he has that experience. And he has those skills, and he's more well-rounded. I think Menifield really just got big punches. I don't think he really got no high kick or anything, or no real good leg kicks. He's got those 2 hands, and that's about it. So like OSP can catch him with kicks at distance to the body, wear him down, take him out of the first round, and then just take advantage of him in the later rounds that he's still not really accustomed to, and hit him more than he's accustomed, hit him harder than he's accustomed to, hit him with stuff he hasn't seen before. And OSP can do that to anybody because he's an unorthodox fighter. So even if you do have a lot of experience, he does stuff from weird angles. And Menifield's not even the most unorthodox fighter. Like, being a fighter that doesn't have that much experience, a lot of times those fighters will be very weird to deal with. But he kind of fights a textbook style. He just has a lot of athleticism. Athleticism and power. So he's not that hard to predict. It's just that he hits hard and he's hard to deal with as far as just his physical presence. But outside of that, it's not a whole lot to him. So like I said, OSP has all the same things he has, plus experience, plus he's unorthodox, plus he's longer, plus he's more versatile. And plus, he's been longer rounds. So I feel like OSP can, like I said, take him out of the first round, be that veteran and give him a lot of things he has not seen before and will not likely see again because like I said, OSP is a very unique fighter. So take him out of that first round, start to attack to the body, do the stuff that's going to pay dividends later, like veterans do, and then stop him in this. I'm not going to say stop because a lot of Menifield is a very tough fighter. Even if he gets tired, he's not a fighter that's going to easily be put out. I don't think OSP going to have super success taking him down and put him in no Von Flue choke because it's not like his first instinct is going to be to put OSP in a guillotine anyway. Only people that caught Von Flues are people that go for the guillotines or something, or get so tired, and then he kind of puts him in a position to get Von Flue. So I don't see that happening in Menifield with his hips, and with the fact that that he's not going to be a guy that's going to try to put nobody in no guillotine. So I don't really see it happening. And like I said, with his strength, he's not going to allow that to happen either way. So I see it as a decision, like OSP, just take him out first round, drag him to late, and then beat him via decisions, outpacing, outworking him, and outsmarting him. So in this fight, I got Overeem St. Proust via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the heavyweight division, Alistair Overeem versus Augusto Saki. So look at this one right here. First, with all Overeem fights, I'm going to drop a disclaimer that in every single fight at heavyweight, even if it's not Overeem, it's always the case, well, especially with Overeem's like, oh, this guy might knock him out. Or this guy was knocking people out, so Overeem's chin comes to question. And it does, but that's what every single fight, so who cares? Outside of that, Overeem is the more technical fighter. And now let's get kind of even counter more to the fact that, the guy might knock him out. Sakai's resume might show 13 or 12 or 15 fights. I mean, out of 15 fights, 12 of them are like knockouts, I believe, or like 11, some high number. But when you look at the UFC, he's 2-2 as far as like decisions or finishes versus decisions. So I think he knocked out Chase Sherman and he knocked out Tybura. Then he had a decision with Andre Arlovski, who has a chin just about as bad as Overeem's, and which a decision which I really thought he lost. And then he has another split decision victory over Ivanov, in which he probably would have lost if he did not hold on to the cage to defend the takedown. So, and I feel like in the Arlovski fight, that was the fight he should have knocked Arlovski out. But actually, he got the victory, and it says the W. The stats say he lost. Anybody with good eyes saw that he lost the fight, but they gave it to him, I guess, because he's the younger fighter, and they don't want to, keep giving like a guy like Arlovski wins because he's not really going to do anything with those wins, so they're going to favor the younger. I don't know. But sometimes, even when it's not even favoritism or, just trying to force the future or whatnot with these decisions, sometimes people just judge bad. They just don't see what's happening. But he clearly lost that fight. Then the Ivano fight, like I said, that fight was tailor-made for him almost. Like, he's supposed to be this light on his feet, big, long heavyweight, and you fighting a shorter heavyweight who not the best takedown artist per se. And so you're supposed to be able to pick him apart from distance, like kind of be a guy that's just going to be in front of you, and you're supposed to beat on him like a punching bag. And that was not the case. He had some success, especially I think semi later on, middle parts of the fight, he kind of started looking like that. But then every time Ivano would get back and land a big overhand or something, or land some big shot and get back and fight, or get in some clinch, or close the distance. But yeah, it wasn't the best performance from him, but a good win nonetheless. But a win that could definitely went the other way if he had not grabbed on the cage and got away with it and defended the takedown. Like, it was a takedown he was clearly about to get picked up and put down, and he grabbed on the cage. I'm all stuttering. He grabbed on the cage and stuffed the takedown by grabbing on the cage. No points deducted. Was able to do that in a important round, and why he was able to win a decision. And even with the cage grab, it was a split decision. So imagine if he got taken down, that would have been an Ivanov victory. So he won a fight, and it was a split decision, even with him cheating and no points being taken. So that says enough right there. That says enough value to what I'm saying. And you feel like, I didn't watch the fight, but you feel like you listen to this video, you feel like, Arlovski probably lost. Watch that fight again. Watch the stats. Look at it. Dang. You don't have to be the smartest guy. You don't even know MMA. He didn't do nothing in that fight. Arlovski just outstruck him, and that was the case. So to get to the point with this one, even though I kind of talked a lot with Overeem and this, about Saki in this one, I feel like Saki, he's a solid fighter, but his footwork is not as good as I imagined it to be, or I want it to be, especially when I'm picking him to win. So his footwork not as good. He doesn't cut the cage off as well. It's more so if you kind of like his opponent messes up, they make a mistake, and they kind of corner themselves, he can really pick them apart. Like he did with Tybura. Like Tybura kind of starts slow at times, and Tybura allowed him to put him against the side of the cage, and he unloaded. But if it's up to him, like a lot of times, the fighter's doing any bit of footwork or cutting the angles, giving him different looks, he really kind of gets baffled out there, and his pace dropped. He even had issues with Chase Sherman. Like I didn't even mention that. So So really, none of his performances were amazing outside the Tybura fight. So the Arlovski fight, he really lost. The Ivano fight, he cheated and still got a split decision. And then the Chase Sherman fight, it was a close fight until he knocked him out in the third round. And who's Chase Sherman? I'm not saying anything bad about Chase Sherman, but for real, who is Chase Sherman? And you struggle with him. So now you're going against Overeem, the most experienced fighter you fought, the best fighter you fought. And really the only thing you could say in this fight is that Overeem's chinny. That's his best shot. And it's a good argument. It's a good bet. But if you're really going to think about it and look at it technically and style-wise and skill-wise and the whole picture, I could really only lean to Overeem. I feel like Overeem was one of the better angle cutters. He could present a lot of different looks. And I feel like he could get him to the ground. I feel like he could beat him up in the clinch. I feel like he could beat him up every area. Just got to watch his chin. And I feel like that's what he'll do. I feel like he'll give him a lot of angles and have Augusto Sakai pretty much follow him. That's pretty much what he'll do. When he fights a guy with good footwork, good technique, give him a lot of different looks, and not being stationary, not getting cut off, he kind of just get caught out there looking. He gets caught out there following, and that's not a good recipe for winning, especially at the highest level. But if he can land a good shot at any point, he could be in this fight. But in reality, outside that, I feel like Overeem could beat him he could beat him inside, he could beat him outside, he could definitely destroy him in the clinch, could take him down. Sakai's a big boy, but Overeem in the clinch beats just about everyone in this division. As a matter of fact, he beats everyone in this division in the clinch. Maybe even all time in this division in the clinch. So I feel like Overeem could beat him there. So I feel like Overeem picks fire from distance, keeps on his footwork, don't allow Sakai to cut him off. Like I said, be the more technical fighter, beat him to the punch, set him up, and then probably dip some for some takedowns, get some control in the fight. I think he actually probably stops him in third round as well. So I feel like he's going to mix it up real well. Gets him thinking a big kick to the body's coming, then angle change, get him that body lock takedown, take him down, wear on him. Probably for like in the second round, in the third round, kind of follow the same rhythm of the second round. But when he gets him down in the third round, I think he really starts to load on him and he puts him out in the third. So in this fight, I got Alistair Overeem via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC Fight Night, Overeem versus Kai. And as always, thanks for watching.